Now, what's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. This is the week 5 of our Motivational Monday seminars for Funnel Wholesale. My name is Todd Holland. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple things. I don't have a PowerPoint or anything, official like I do on the Thursday training sessions, but mainly just to go over some ways to kind of, get the mind in the right place to take on the week and to get a lot of, very interesting appointments and hopefully get some sales through your efforts, right? So some things to consider. Um, Before we start, for people who are catching this thing on the replay, you're probably wondering why there was not an announcement in the Facebook group. We're not going to be posting anything else in the Facebook group. We're just keeping it open for as long as we can to get everyone's contact information out of it, and so we can keep in touch with them here on Slack. What ended up being, started a very good idea of having a Facebook group to have a lot of people in contact and communication. Greatly got blown out of proportion when we got our 95th person in the group, and then it just became like, I almost have to hire someone just to manage the Facebook group, and I don't want that. I want to focus all of our resources on building your guys' business, not just kind of managing the social hour environment. So in lieu of that, we did Slack. Slack is a lot better, I can even show you what Slack looks like if you're curious to see what Slack looks like, for those of you who have not seen it. But it's very easy. I have the admin view, so I see all of our individual clients, which are these locked files, all of the hashtag looking files, the open channels like general and random and things like that. We're going to have channels open for resource lists, for the webinars, for all the replays here, the results that you can show your clients. We're going to have a different channel for each one of those. So you can kind of think about Slack in many ways as your virtual office, right? It's like, you've got random. The random channel right here, that's like your water cooler. General is kind of like whenever we have an office meeting or an announcement or something like that, myself or Jess will get on here and post that to everybody and let them see it. And then you can also be invited to your particular clients' channels too. If you get one of these locked channels here, these are where we discuss the issues. We go briefly into Amber Coverage's file here, where we discuss the issues and the results and implementation things that they want to see. You can be in there with your clients too, and be in communication, so that if it is a client that you want to upsell onto your own personal services, like Susan with Sensible Analytics or something like that, you would be able to kind of retain that FaceTime with them and be kind of in the same hangout room as the rest of us are. And there's some benefit to that. Not everybody wants that, and I recognize that, but it is certainly available for those of you who do. So that's that aspect right there. As I mentioned before, all of our resources are going to be on here too. So, instead of kind of, searching through the group and hoping you can, kind of find something, I know the algorithm in the group's definitely thrown us all for a loop, myself included, right? You don't have to go search for those things. You simply go to the designated channel, which you'll see one that says like, results, or one that says Motivational Monday webinars, things like that. And you just search for the one that you like best. Just make sure for everyone who's seeing this, please don't comment in any of the channels that are not general or random. Everything else, we're going to keep those for designated admin stuff, and basically just keeping it clean so you guys can find your data really quickly and just be able to pull it out. Usually in the middle of a sales presentation too, because Slack is on mobile. So if you have Slack on your cell phone, which all of you should have Slack on your cell phone, then what you're able to do is just go to the respective channel. And if you're like, in front of a mortgage person, they ask a specific question of mortgages, you want to get some results, you don't have to be like, well, let me go search through the Facebook group. You have that basically right here on the phone, and within a matter of seconds, you can pull up the data and show your prospects. So there's a lot of benefits, I think. If you guys are doing half deals, a couple people not in this chat, but in the group doing half deals together right now, which are basically like both you guys are working on the same prospect because you guys pitch them at the same time. And while we do want to give priority to the person who got the proposal into the client first, we do recognize that both people could have a hand in whatever. So we are offering half deal situations in cases where, let's say, you and a potential another funnel wholesale broker are farming the same person and both working on him and things like that. Instead of competing with each other, I'm willing to let you guys do a half deal and split whatever commission you guys agree on for that. And that's a temporary thing too, just until we get the affiliate tracking thing up and running properly. So we won't have to do that. But in any case, that's more of a like an option than a mandate, right? So we're not saying you have to do half deals. I'm just saying if you and someone else are going after the same guy, instead of trying to like fight it out and get the lowest possible price, and thereby devaluing a lot of what we do by focusing on price instead of service, you can team up and work on these things together if you so choose to. And that's actually the essence of my next point, which is the sales team. I know a lot of people are interested in having a small team of people prospect leads for them, because there's a lot of money on the table for each one of your closed deals, and to the tune of 4 or 5 figure commissions, depending on if you're calculating the monthly residual as kind of an annual payment, and the down payment as being a one time thing. If you can kind of amortize that over the course of a year, even a $1,000 upsell on the monthly is a $12,000 sale at the end of the year, if you think about it that way. So there's a lot of money on the table. So if at any time somebody wants to discuss the possibility of setting up a team, please reach out to me directly, and then we can definitely go through those things there. I'm not quite sure who just hopped on the call here. If you go ahead and fill your name out. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and mute you out, random stranger, which should be okay. But yeah, so that's two things I wanted to go over. One is Slack, using Slack effectively. The other one is if you want to have a team set up, or if you want to have like a VA or an ISA or something like that, you can like absolutely do that. There's no issues with that. We're all good. Um, Person who just logged in, like the latest person to log in, not Ryan, not Susan, not Thomas. If you could go ahead and just edit your name for me, that would be hugely helpful, so I can know who's here and who's not. But in the interim, we'll just kind of keep it going, keep it running. So yeah, guys, I mean that's basically it. I wanted to show you those things. Those are the minor changes, the announcements that came in over the weekend. We're going to be using a lot more Slack, and I want you guys to be using Slack. Oh, that's Justin. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Justin, in a little bit here. I want you guys to be using Slack in kind of very high level, because not only, and this is the mistake that I made, and I can kind of own up to this, what I wanted when I first built the Facebook group was like a way for everyone to communicate with each other and to get things done together. And while that was, I think, a very good thing that we did, it didn't fulfill the whole picture, because you do need to have like a command central dashboard of all of your marketing materials, of all of your, example funnels that you want to be showing your clients. Like if they're like, well, what does a funnel look like in the automotive industry? Like you shouldn't have to like describe it to them, or, gesture with your hands or draw on a wall or something. You should be able just to pull it up on your phone and show them, or on the computer and show them. So that's one thing we're going to do. Uh, so excited about that. The other big change, obviously, a lot of people on this call know about the rollout of Funnelytics Unlimited, which again is our 100% commission payout thing, where you guys basically build your own funnels from the templates we offer. We finally launched the first 10 funnels out last night. So I'm gonna give myself a small round of applause. That noise you hear is me clapping for myself, because that was not an easy day. I'm coming down off of, I think, 3 different flus or something. So to be able to get that done this weekend, I'm just very happy we did, because that's going to be exciting moving forward. And yeah, so on that note, that kind of a thing. So you now have different options when it comes to development, right? You can either have us build the funnel for your clients from one of our templates, or from scratch, how whatever the case calls for, or you can follow the instructions, do it yourself. The only reason we are offering, and this is so you guys get some idea, because everyone who's signed up with the unlimited, and there's only about 5 of you so far that have. But everyone who's signed up for it has kind of said the same thing, which is, why are you like offering this for $500 a month? I mean, are you not losing money on this? And yeah, per person, obviously we're losing money. I mean, there's no two ways about that. It's not really about that though for us. I'm not going to be one of the people who says like, no, the money doesn't matter. No, the money for sure matters. I mean, that's a given, but it's also the return on the investment, the opportunity cost of time and things like that. And, for those reasons, I like being in a position on a personal level where I can help you guys out en masse, like in bulk kind of a thing, where, if I'm building a funnel, it's not to benefit one person or one client, but it's potentially to benefit, the dozens and dozens of people we'll have working with us in this capacity. Like I can build a funnel out and disperse it out to all of you guys and give a step-by-step instruction on what it looks like. In fact, I can even show you what one of those things look like right now. I'm okay doing that because I know everyone here is kind of above board in many respects. So can everyone see this window by any chance? Can someone just chime in and say they can see what I'm showing?
Yeah, I can.
I
Perfect. Thank you guys. So the funnels themselves, like you can either have us build the funnel or you can follow along with this step-by-step guide of how to build the funnel. It's actually a very cool thing. We talk about what's in the funnel. We talk about how it works. This is how to get unlimited, obviously, when you're ready for it. We show the results of each funnel, how many leads generated, what's the cost of those leads, and the other parameters that I like to look at on a personal level when I'm kind of judging these things. You have over here, the number of leads that come in, the cost of these leads, which are very low, the relevance score, and all these different things. You've got to copy what the ad looks like. You've got the exact specific targeting we used. You've got the ad copy specific that we use, and all these things correspond to the same ad. So it's like, you might, try this in a different market and it might not give you the same exact numbers, but if you do exactly what we say here, you're going to see something similar. It's just, that's the way it is. I mean, this is, I feel like for too long we've been putting like a shade over this particular part of it, right? Which is, I think, very important. And then you've got the landing pages, how to upload and edit each landing page, how to connect them together. You've got the follow-up link, which you just copy this link right here and drop it into your CRM, which everyone who has unlimited has that CRM. So the idea here is that you can obviously pay us to do anything that you want for you and for your clients. We're always happy to do that. That part of this service that we offer has not changed, nor will it change. Obviously, there are some cases where you want to distance yourself from someone, like if it's a personal referral and you don't want to go and like be the person who builds that funnel. You want to put a wall or a buffer between that in case something goes wrong. Obviously send those our way. If you're not comfortable managing an ad sequence, obviously, send those our way too. We can do all those things. But for the people, and again, I went into this too, this is for the people who like another option, because what I've found is someone who's like, I guess your broker manager or whatever my role is in this organization, your chief economist. I call myself everyone's economist wherever I work, and it gets some laughs every now and then. But whatever it is, my position with you guys, I'm seeing what's going on here, and there's a lot of money being left on the table for menial things that I think you guys can handle yourselves. How do I know that? Because I'm the one that money is being sent to do these menial things for you. And that's a very real thing, right? I'm comfortable saying that and being transparent about that. So with that being said, that this is another option to if you're good enough with computers and tech and you can follow a step-by-step instruction with video and stuff like that, it's a good option to just go in and be able to install the funnel in less than 20 minutes and, just kind of launch it and get, paid for it, obviously. But it's also a good way to not get priced out of the market by individual salespeople. And what do I mean by that? So let's say that there is a person who can afford, like, let's say $500 a month, and that's all they can afford. And it's a very small amount of service they need, but it's $500 a month they're willing to pay for that service. Well, if you were to broker that through to me, there's no money for you to make on that because our cheapest package is $500 a month and we can't go any lower than that on that package. So you'd make nothing on that deal. So it's a wash. That's a person who wouldn't get your service and you wouldn't benefit off of. But with this other system, you have no like basic bottom threshold that you have to pay out for anything as long as you can do it yourself in a basic way. So you could theoretically get 4 or 5 people on board in your first month that you would not be able to actually service. Small ticket people, I'm saying, you wouldn't be able to service by brokering it out and paying our fees. You can just do those yourself, and that's 100% commission that you get off of those things. So that's why that's available there. And I think there's actually a pretty big call for that, and so hopefully that's going to be exciting for you guys, as exciting for you guys as it is for myself and for us and the team. Other announcements I'd like to kind of make. We're working on a training portal for you guys too. We're trying to be very delicate about this training portal because we recognize that Funnel Closer is by itself a complete product offered by Breakthrough Academy. So we don't want to step on any toes or insinuate otherwise. But there are certain processes and training things that we ourselves can do. Hey, no worries, Justin. Thanks for coming by. There's going to be a replay of this too, so you can just go ahead and pick that up whenever you want. But going back to it, it to me it's clear that Funnel Closer is a very good program, but the number of questions that we're getting as the management team are very similar. First of all, the number is very high, and the nature of those questions are very similar, and they're all kind of tie around the same things, which is, how do I get in front of more people? How do I communicate the success of different kinds of funnels if I'm not in the industry? How do I how do I what is the process if I want to go ahead and do some of these things myself? What do I have to do so? And I think a lot of those kinds of questions are maybe to be answered later, but because I know you guys have those questions now for us and for our operations, we're going to be building out a complete training portal for you guys. This is not like a course. This is not a digital product. It's not something we're going to charge for. It's simply something that if you're a broker with Funnel Wholesale, I want you guys to have all of the available knowledge and resources to do your job well. Because obviously, when you do your job well, everyone kind of succeeds, not just yourself and me, but also the company. And through the company, we have extra funds to invest in lead generation and more tools and more things like that. So it works out better, obviously, for me if you guys sell, and it works out better for, believe it or not, Ryan, for example, if Susan sells something, or it's better for Thomas if, Justin sells something, because we're all, kind of what we take, everything is getting 100% invested back into the business and probably will be for the next, I would say, year. So any success that we have is really just going to get us to that point faster for be able to have good things going on with you guys. So that's it. That's my announcements for the day. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you guys. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions. Anything I can answer in the next half an hour here, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to go through it with you guys. And we should probably do ladies first at this point, because alphabetically y'all are at the end of the alphabet anyway, so it's hard to tell. You're at R, S, and T, so it's that close. So, Susan, if you want to go ahead and get anything answered, or Ryan or Thomas, or I was kidding about the ladies first. Anybody who wants to talk, go ahead.
I only had questions really about the initial finding of people. Like, I'm really excited about all of this, and so I want to sell to everybody, which is ridiculous. You can't do that. So you guys have hints on narrowing down my focus so that I'm hitting the customers that are like the customers I already have,
Yeah, so I think that probably ties into me knowing what kind of customers you already have.
So I'm really focused on smaller companies that are transitioning from startup to maintained businesses, and there's that awkward in between phase where a lot of the people who love to start businesses are not really the best personalities to maintain a business. And so what happens is that a lot of startups fail just because the owner gets bored instead of handing it off to a business manager and having it tick over and be a source of income. So I'm not really sure how to really define that person in terms of an industry. I deal a lot with tech people, but some of them are software owners, and some of them are. The last guy I talked to was a rope manufacturer. So the industries are all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. So that's kind of one thing I go into is we have, just through our resources and having done this for as many painful years as we've done this, we can pretty much build a funnel for any industry. So that part, like you said, if you want to sell across industries, that's no worries at all. We can fulfill on that end. But to your point, I think it has a lot to do with what are you comfortable communicating? What stage in the business development cycle are you comfortable walking into? And I think that, for the rest of the two people on this call, Susan actually makes a really good point in that is your sweet spot in general. The thing that she just mentioned, the awkward growing stages between we're still a startup, but now we're like financially viable to an extent or for a period of time, and we have a little bit of money to play with some things. That's a great place to come into, because what you have is the capacity for someone's business to go from a manual sales process, which generated as many deals as it has. So it's a product people want. We already kind of agree on that based on the fact that the startup hasn't gone under in the first like 30 days if they're actually expanding. So it's a product people want. But now it's a question of how do we get that product into the most hands, obviously. So there's that whole thing about, well, what is a funnel? At the end of the day, it's an automation of the sales process. That is the sales and marketing process. Rather, and anytime somebody asks me what a funnel is, usually people will talk about landing pages and Facebook ads and stuff, and that's all cool and it sells well. But at its core, a funnel is simply an automation or a revamp of a very important process in a business. And it can expand just from marketing, sales, fulfillment, operations. A funnel can take over all these different things if they need it to. So I think that, for the purposes of this call, to discuss a funnel in terms of a sales or a marketing funnel is probably most accurate, because that's what a lot of people really have an easy time communicating. Lead generation falls strictly under that, not under operations or any of those things. So when kind of targeting businesses, I would probably say, in general, like mortgage, real estate, and title are always going to be at the top of the list because they have so much to gain from each one of these little tiny deals closing. The other aspects, of course, are going to be like chiros, dentists, chiropractors, dentists, private practice physicians. They have a lot. They, as it stands, pay around $1,800 for new client acquisition. Safe to say the methods we have are far cheaper than $1,800 per client acquisition. So that's one thing that you can kind of go in with some with some confidence. Tech apps, software is huge for what we can do. We can do like tremendously trippy things with software simply by using Facebook's SDK kit.
Right, right.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking is, a lot of the tech guys that I've talked to that have software or they have apps, they're like, well, I'll just do it myself. And I'm like, yeah, but you haven't yet. And so they have the technical knowledge to do it, but they don't or they won't. And I think that it's because they're so enthusiastic about their own work that they're not thinking about the marketing aspect of it.
Right.
They're still thinking, well, if I put it up on GitHub, people are going to love it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're limiting your audience there. So that's a really good point, to think about that I can come in from that angle with different industries and point them in this automation aspect of things. Okay, no, that really helps.
Totally, absolutely. And just so you guys know, Susan, anyone else who's thinking about selling to software developers, you totally should be, because Facebook has literally its own like an ad campaign objective. There's lead generation objectives, there's engagement, there's traffic. They have their own specific like kind of ad they run for apps where you can actually track events that happen within the app. So let's say that you've got someone, and this is not common, but in Silicon Valley, which is where I'm from originally, it is kind of common. Those iPhone games, right? The games that people will download and things like that. Well, promoting those games on Facebook is actually a very powerful strategy, because you can track things such as like microtransaction purchases within, like, there's sometimes you have to pay to play a game. You have to pay throughout the course of playing the game, whatever. Like with Farmville, you have to buy seeds or whatever it was. I don't remember I didn't play Farmville as much as I admitted to just now. But in any case, those kind of things work really well because we can track when people are and are not spending money. So for an app developer, let's say it's a free app that has like kind of a pay to play aspect or upsells or microtransactions, whatever you want to call them. Would it not be beneficial for that app developer to know exactly which of his clients are purchasing things, which ones are not, and to be able to run ads specifically to the ones who are different from the ones who are not? Is it a different thing you're communicating? The answer is going to be yes. So that's one thing. If you've got people in tech, just because you guys are not in tech, like you guys aren't app developers, I don't want you guys to ever feel like afraid to talk to somebody in an industry because you don't have the expertise that they do. You have one singular expertise that they do not have, which is how did we take whatever product is, be it mortgages, be it really complex smartphone apps. We've got a couple rehab centers that we do that I don't understand how they do what they do, but I understand that it works. in some capacity, like drug and alcohol rehab. Um, those kind of clients, I mean, I have no expertise in those fields whatsoever. I mean, I have a drink every now and then, but that's not really knowing how an alcohol rehab facility works. But what I do know is how to bring a wave of people into their door, so to speak, and for low cost. And that's what we have too. So, and I'm going to post more information on that stuff too. But and this is motivational Monday, right? That's one of the things we do. We motivate each other. So one of the motivational things I want to say is that whatever industry you're up against, if you're sitting there wondering, like, because I get a lot of messages, can we do this industry? Can we do that industry? Before you message me about that, as much as I love your messages, before you message me about that, assume the answer is yes, because as long as we have a defined idea of who the customer is, and if you watch the demo video inside the 12-minute long demo video of what my funnel creation process, we can basically narrow down any audience whatsoever. So long as we have the audience, we can build an offer, and we can promote that, and we can get people to opt in, and then even convert and purchase based on that offer. So I think for all those reasons, don't feel like you have to come check with us about what industries work. And I understand that that's a hard habit to break, because a lot of people want more information, but honestly, just whatever it is, we can do it. I think the most important thing is, can you, when, knowing that we can do this, intelligently communicate the aspects of what we do that apply most to their pain points. I know a lot of people have this urge or this incentive to go, and as soon as someone lets you start talking, you start talking about landing pages and lead generation and reverse funnels and retargeting, and nobody cares about that. That's not something anyone really has any, if they care about that, they're already selling these things, because that's when they know the difference. All they need to know is you have a way of turning cold traffic into actual, engaged customers. You have a way of taking their existing customers and turning them into revitalized and kind of reawakened, clientele. And you've got a way of, converting them on the back end. And by the way, it's cheaper and more targeted than any other type of lead generation in their industry, probably, because Google pay-per-click is ridiculously expensive. So I'll leave it with that. But that's one thing I want you guys to kind of internalize, is that you guys have that golden chalice that you basically selling out of. It's just a matter of communicating that effectively, and not to call out Thomas, but I will, because the guy's been doing great work. Thomas sends out the app that you guys have. He sends that app out to like a half dozen people a day on a bad day. He sets like a lot of appointments to that app. He communicates a lot of value through the app. Nobody sends out more proposals in this group than Thomas Williamson. He's actually here, in the call right now. I'm sorry, Thomas, not to embarrass you, but it's very much the truth. And Thomas, he's not like, an experienced loan officer, but he's going after all these commercial mortgage guys. He's not like a solar guy, but he's going after all the solar guys. He's not a tech guy, but he's going after these tech guys. So for what he's doing, just to, kind of maybe make an example out of him in a good way, is that he kind of, he understands that the process works generate business at this point. Now, how do we communicate that, what particular part of that process applies to the client, get them excited, and get some proposals sent out to them. And that's going to be the main strategy. So I think the biggest way that you can shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to succeeding in this industry, many industries, but this one specifically, because there's so much technology on the back end you just want to talk about, is by overthinking it. If you overthink it, trust me, a guy like Thomas or someone else who's just thinking about it the right amount, not overthinking, not underthinking it, but the right amount that it takes to get the thing done, they're going to come in, they're going to do it. Because the important thing is that overthinking, I think, doesn't bolster confidence in many cases. I think overthinking will actually diminish confidence over time. It's important to be able to explain to yourself before you start a sales pitch exactly how this thing could work. Because that's if you can explain it simply, that's how you know that you actually understand the material. But in terms of explaining it in a complex way to your client, that's not going to serve anything. I mean, they're going to want some technical stuff, they're going to want some results and some things like that, to be able to be prepared to talk about those things. But for people who are like, I really want like a very specific thing, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's like, well, it is great to want things, and it's great to have a goal and a vision, but it's also probably of some value to establish income and revenue while you're going after that vision. So it's, chicken versus the egg kind of thing, cart before the horse. Okay, so that's my spiel on that. I just wanted to go over that stuff. I know we got a lot of other questions here, and about 25 minutes left. So I'll let whoever wants to take the floor, please.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Tom.
All right. So I'm getting a lot of questions from realtors right now about CRM. They want to know what CRM they can use, what CRM works. Is the Insight CRM a way to get our foot in the door with a client, or is that the wrong approach?
Well, the Insight CRM is provided to them 100% for free on any management package they choose. So
Yes.
whether they're choosing the 500, the 1,000, 2,500, we can still integrate the leads to drop into their CRM as long as their CRM is something that exists on Zapier. If it does not, there's nothing we can do or will do about that. They have to use a modern CRM, and all modern CRMs use Zapier. But the follow up, the emails, the text messages, the deal tracking, all of the really cool internal automations that make the process work really well, that all happens through Insight, and that's what they get for free. So while they say if you have a CRM, that's great. And I find out if it's Lion Desk or if it's contactually, any of those things, we can get those leads into the system easily enough. But just know that the real power and the real strength of using us is because we actually provide them that CRM for free. It's like a $200 CRM that's what we charge for it, and they get that 100% for free. I mean, not for free, but built into their contract. So it should be a huge selling point to answer your question.
Good deal. Thank you, sir.
You got it, man. Great question. Anybody else? Don't be shy.
Hey, Todd, it's Ryan. When you talk about that, those smaller deal funnels or whatever, where we pay $500 a month and it gives us so many funnels, you were saying something about charging the customer $500 to manage it a month, where we would manage it. What are we using your CRM to manage that? How are we managing it? I guess I'm kind of lost on that part.
Yeah, man. No, Ryan, that's a great question. Management is optional for those. So first of all, if you're not comfortable managing a funnel, by all means outsource that part out to us, and we can do that. Then just kind of capitalize on having the funnel pre-built type of a thing. So you can charge them $1,000 for the funnel to be pre-built, and you just install that yourself and you make some money there. But to be able to manage it, we actually have in the Funnelytics Unlimited platform the framework, right? We have the capacity for you to set up a CRM that essentially will manage all of the conversions and all of the activities and things like that, and a way to do that. But it's like an extra skill to learn. So I think that, this is, like I mentioned, this is a good, I think, activity for someone who's actually built a funnel for themselves before. If they have some tech background to being able to install these things and manage them, that it's a great option. But if it's something you're not incredibly comfortable managing a funnel or anything like that, then that's obviously something you can hand back to us, and we're happy to fulfill that on your end. But the way that I manage it, right, is I simply get myself an Ad Espresso account, which is $50 a month. So again, it's none of these are free options to do anything. It's all going to come at a cost. But I get an Ad Espresso account, and I run my ads through Ad Espresso, because that gives me the analytics I need to be able to intelligently communicate what the funnel is doing and what it's not doing, and be able to send reports out to the client automatically, and all these cool things that you can charge for all happen through that piece of software. So I can link to that in the general section if anyone wants to take a look at it. But the 5 people who have signed up for Funnelytics Unlimited, they've all gone ahead and signed up for Wave, because Wave is how they send the invoices out. They've all gone ahead and signed up for Ad Espresso, because that's obviously how you manage the ads in a high level. And then they've signed up with DocuSign or PandaDoc, which is what we use to get the proposal set out. So there's a couple things that you're going to want to take a look at if you're actually going to go down that route, because what you're really doing is setting up the framework to have your own digital marketing agency that's just powered by the work and the research that we do, but it's going to be kind of built, and all the profits are going to be recognized by you guys. So it's kind of a cool thing. Some people don't want to have their own brand. Some people like adamantly want their own brand. And it's just a function of what you want to do with your time, and what you want us to do with ours. That's what it really boils down to. You know.
All right, thanks. I appreciate that.
You got it, man. Absolutely. Anybody else? Alrighty. Well, if that's it, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this recording out. I'm not cancel it, but just shut it down. Wait for it to upload to YouTube. Takes about an hour or two because I just don't know why it takes so long. Probably because they're long videos. And then I'll drop it into a specific channel here in the group.
Oh, actually, Todd, speaking of the whole YouTube thing, I just thought about something.
Sure.
It's Ryan again. So is there a way to make them private to where not everybody can see what we're doing?
Yeah, actually, Shannon Bailey, who's on the call right here, made that exact same point earlier, maybe even last week over the weekend, where when you would Google funnel wholesale, you'd see our product training, and thereby you'd see our pricing sheet. So,
Yeah.
So my bad. I didn't know that's what popped up. I should obviously Google myself more than I do. But no, so what we've done since is unlist all of those videos. So if you try searching us now, hopefully none of that stuff pops up. It's only the promotional stuff that pops up, I'm hoping. But what we eventually have to do is just get Funnel Wholesale's website up with the SEO game, and kind of ranking higher, because then that's what they're going to see. But that's a moving target, because we're currently building. That takes about 3 months to get your ranking that high. Even for something that's as what do you call it, specific as Funnel Wholesale, it still takes that long. I don't really understand why, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to take time. It is what it is. All right. I just wanted to make sure, because I think I had one of my customers basically say, yeah, you charging me double of everything. I'm like, oh, okay. No problem.
Well, shit. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys let me know about that. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Shannon, for that, because that could obviously get in the way of you guys' success in a big way. Also, direct them to the whole Funnel Wholesale Facebook page too, because we got some really nice reviews on there. If you guys wouldn't mind, I hate to ask, but if you guys wouldn't mind writing a review, not as a user, but as a broker, like what the experience is like being a broker there, just to get more reviews on there, I'd appreciate it. You don't have to. The main point of me bringing it to Facebook in the first place is, so you can share that link with people, because we've got like 13 reviews so far. I mean, it's new. We got 13 reviews, all 5-star. Want to get up to 100 by the time the year is over. So, that's going to be a great place for people to read about us too. But yeah, no, you're right that the Googling thing is an issue. So we hopefully took care of that by taking those offline.
Thanks, Todd.
Absolutely. Alrighty, guys. Anything else? Okay. Well, if anything comes up, you know where to find me, here in Slack. Go ahead, send me a message. And people who are not yet in Slack, do me a huge favor and go on ahead to the group while it's still up. Go to that post that I made about wanting everybody on Slack, and write your email address in there, and then Jess will get you in at some point today. Cool, guys. Well, thank you all so much for your time. Hope you all have a fantastic day. And the replay is going to be up very shortly in case you missed part of it. So take care, guys. Have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon.